Hello, my name is Sofia Fernández Garcia. I am a fine art photographer from Denver, Colorado, currently based in Paris, France, and this is my installation, Ni Una Más. This project is talking about the rising issue of femicide in Mexico and pretty much across South America. The first part of this project is the papel picado. It's my way to form a memorial for the women and the victims of femicide. All of these portraits have been taken from victims' social media sites, from their Facebooks, their Instagrams. They're some of the last images that have been posted by these women, and these have all been taken from the last year. And papel picado has a tie to Day of the Dead in Mexico. It's said that when you pass by the paper, the wind that's caused is actually your loved one who's passing through. And if you grow up in Mexican culture, you see papel picado pretty regularly, but it's something that we see so often that sometimes we forget the actual meaning behind papel picado. And so by using this as my medium, I'm kind of hoping to turn the attention to how we can forget about femicide. It's something that is happening, it's prevalent, but it's so often talked about in the background that we forget about how big this issue is. So this first part of the project is really a memorial for the victims and the women who have suffered from femicide. As I was developing this project, I got very interested in the reasons why femicide is happening. So I started to research a little bit more on what is causing femicide. And the two things that I found most interesting is the idea of machismo and the government's lack of assistance. They address the issue, but they don't do enough to actually help the issue of femicide. So the second part of the project is the Resplandor. And this project is basically taking found imagery from the protests that have been happening in Mexico. It's kind of a way to show proof that women and people are fighting for their voice to be heard and to fight against femicide. These images are tied together in a way to create a resplandor, which in Mexican culture, it's also a form of high status in society. And so with the resplandor, it's kind of a way to show the power and the strength behind women who are fighting against femicide. While I was researching more on the history of resplandor, I learned that Mexico is primarily a matriarchy, which means women are kind of the head of the household. They're the ones who are helping raise children. They're the ones that are instilling the morals into their children. And this idea kind of confused me, because if it's women who are raising men into the society, why are women the ones who are suffering so much violence? So this thought kind of led into the final part of the project. I really don't want this project to be a way to point fingers and say that men are the only problem, men are the only ones who are the perpetrators in the situation. Men also suffer from machismo. And so this final part, I took different essays, different articles of people who have researched the negative impact of machismo on men in Mexican society. And this final part is really a push for us to consider men in the conversation of machismo and really try to figure out how they suffer and how they are also part of the solution as well. So if we are able to have conversations and understand both the women's side and the male side of machismo, I think that's how we can come together and find solutions to fight against femicide.